Hey, if you don't have an emergency fund, you aren't living. That's right. You're just waiting for the next disaster to wipe you out. People think they need tens of thousands of dollars to be safe. They don't. What they need is a system to stop the bleeding. So, right now, most people are one minor inconvenience away from a financial crisis. That is not good. No bueno, as they say in Spanish. A car repair, it could be a medical bill, a sudden job loss. If you don't have a buffer, you might use credit. That's not good. Interest starts eating away your future, and suddenly you're trapped. That isn't laziness, that was economic dependency. Today, we're going to build your protection system from zero to fully secured. So, listen up. This is going to help you. So, the stakes of dependency is what we're going to talk about right now. All right. People stay in the jobs they hate, right? People don't challenge bad leadership. People don't negotiate their salaries. They feel stuck. Why? Because they can't afford to be free. Dependency just doesn't affect your money, right? It affects how you think. And how you think is so important. When you're living on the tightrope, that financial tightrope, your brain is wired for short term survival, not long term power. An emergency fund isn't just extra cash that's just laying around, it's the tool that buys you the ability to say no to things that don't serve your growth. Okay, we're going to try to, as hard as I can, to help you build that tool today. And this is not one of those long gated emergency funds. This is very, very simple. This is the number one thing you should be thinking about right now. We could even call it the quick emergency fund. All right. So let's start the overall quick emergency fund per se as called the small emergency fund. And this small emergency fund is between 500 bucks to $1,000. The first goal, A, is definitely not quitting your job. It's improving and proving that you can generate and protect your own income. Your tier 1 fund is again between 500 to $1,000. This isn't for retirement, this isn't for vacations. This is strictly here, folks, to stop the credit card cycle. When that $400 repair hits, like on a car or something, and you need new tires, because tires are massively expensive nowadays, and you don't have the cash, you can reach for the card you love, or you can use that $400 in cash that you can pay for it. It might hurt for a day, but then you're back to work on building up that emergency fund again. So, therefore, you're protecting your progress. Automation is the key and the secret on how you're going to do this. You set a transfer to happen every payday before you even see the money in your checking account. Go to your bank. Take, or if you have a bank and you have another savings account, or you have for example, a CD, okay? But the CD, you would have to call the bank if you put the money into a CD and say, I need X amount of money transferred to my checking or my savings account. And therefore, what they're going to say is, well, if we do that, the CD is not matured yet to the date that you put it. Let's say you do a 1 year CD, they will deduct pennies on the dollar for that. So you'll be charged definitely a little bit of a money for them. But if you have it automatically in the savings, you just go to savings, transfer it over to checking if you have an emergency. But the point of it is you want to set up something automatically, even if it's like 20 to 25 bucks every paycheck minimum. Okay? Minimum, guys and girls. And you set it and you put it into a savings. And you name that savings, because in banks nowadays you can name your savings accounts or the CD or whatever as emergency fund. Do not touch unless there's an emergency. And you can put like slash 500 bucks or slash 1,000, whatever your goal is. Okay, so here's some other savings rates, for example. So once tier 1 is set, we're going to look at tier 2 to fund 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Okay, so tier 1 is at 500 to 1,000 bucks. Tier 2, 3 to 6 months of living expenses. All right, where you park this money matters. This is the kind of money that really matters. All right, let's look at what is actually out there. Savings account. You can park 3 to 6 months of savings accounts. Excuse me, you can park your 3 to 6 months of emergency fund into savings accounts. It's easy access, but the account is near zero. Money market accounts, usually offers slighter high interest rates than a standard savings account, often with check writing capabilities. But if it doesn't have checking writing capabilities, then you got to electronically transfer that 3 to 6 months into checking or savings. Certificate of deposits, which we just basically talked about. This is where your money is locked for a period of time, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, blah, 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 so on and so forth. You get a higher interest rate return, but you will pay a penalty if you need that cash early. If this is your tier 2 fund, you want a balance of liquidity and growth. Okay, don't chase pennies in a CD if it means you can't touch that money when the real disaster hits. You're going to be able to have to touch that money if a real disaster hits for that 3 to 6 months. Or even if you're going to do the 500 to 1,000, you're going to be able to touch that money. You're going to have to touch it. And it's going to have to come back to you because you're going to need that cash for stuff. So let's do this. Mid cover, okay? Check those out. $500 to 1,000 emergency fund. That's tier 1. Tier 2 is 3 to 6 months. Okay, so once you have your $500 or your $1,000 saved, what you want to do is, if you use that $400, let's say, to do a tire repair or whatever maintenance on a car, then you start building that back up, and you put that 400 bucks back in there. You can also build another fund for the 3 to 6 months, but first focus on that $500 to $1,000 of a quick emergency fund. Okay, so important, so important. Otherwise, you're putting it on your credit card, and God and you only know when that credit card's going to be paid off. So don't do that. Save your money. Okay? And I know everything gets expensive year after year, and I know that the dollar is depreciating on a daily basis. But it's so important to have that emergency fund if you need it. Okay? So find that right account. And then after you do that $500 to $1,000, start building that 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months into a CD, a money market, or a saving account. But that 3 to 6 months of expenses that you want to build, put that like the expense account, and you want to label that as 3 to 6 months of expenses in your bank, whatever, if that's a CD, if it's a money market, or whatever. But you want to have access to the cash just in case expense like that happens. And that 3 to 6 months will help to cover you in case of a job loss. Like, for example, God forbid, something happened to somebody's job. They had 6 months of savings. So now they can get that 6 months of savings and save that money. Okay, put that money toward their expenses while they're recuperating. They're basically, instead of, their losses, they're taking that 6 months, using it. Okay, and when they get that new job, they're going to build it right back up. That's the way to do it. So check this out. I cover this exact budgeting templates and how to automate this and how to get off the financial tightrope. I've broken it down into 3 tiers. The $19 digital book, which is available right now, it's going to be in the description below. Okay, the $49 is another option that you have with the book and the tools bundle. That's going to include a credit, how to get out of debt with credit cards, or any debt that you have. It's also going to include the free budget tracker that I have that you can even download. It's going to be in the description right now. It's going to include that in the $49 bundle because it includes the book as well, and that credit, that how to get out of debt credit tracker. All right, and the budget tracker is what I'm talking about, and a few other videos and some other trackers that I'm putting in there as well that you're going to really like it. Optional income trackers, you'll love that one. And then you've got the 99 premium package, which includes all that, and it's going to also have some other videos on my take of what's going on, my thoughts about the economy, my thoughts about digital currency, so on and so forth. But right now, I'm working on the $49 package and the $99 package. So if you're interested in those as well, to get with the book as well, just put in the comment, hey, I'm interested, and I'll reach out to you direct messages. Anyway, remember this, folks. Building this system from small emergency funds, $500 to $1,000, to that 3 to 6 months, is how you stop that bleeding. It's not through perfect planning, because there's no such thing, but through experimentation and discipline. People don't challenge bad leadership. Remember this, because they can't afford to walk away. So when you have that 3 to 6 month buffer, the power dynamic changes entirely. You stop being a subject of your employer and start being a partner in your own economic life. And I'll let you figure that out, what that means for you, because everybody has their own economic picture of what's going on in their life. So I appreciate your time. Go ahead and build that fund, buy your freedom, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. God bless you.